And welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar, which is brought to you by Baxter Media. My name is Eilish. I'm your host from Baxter Media, and our presenters today are Sandra Gardiner, who is the Director of Sales for Canada at AmaWaterways, and we have Jessica Benitez, the Manager of Strategic Partner Networks. So welcome, Sandra and Jessica. Thank you so much for being here today. We are excited for your presentation. And just a couple housekeeping items before we start. We will be doing a Q&A at the end of the session. As well, this is a live webinar, so please be patient if there are any technical difficulties that may arise. My fingers are crossed that they won't, but I'll be monitoring things in the background to make sure it all goes smoothly. And with that, I will hand things over to Sandra and Jessica. Take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, Eilish. We're so excited to be here. Jess and I were just saying that we don't often get to present together, but we've got the East Coast and the West Coast well represented today. So happy you could join us. Today, we're going to talk about the points of distinction with AmaWaterways and what sets us apart in the industry and why you should be booking absolutely every single river cruise with AmaWaterways. So our hosts, we just were introduced. You have myself. I'm based out here in Halifax. And then we have Jessica, my colleague, who is based down in the US. But Jess does take care of some of our great partners up here in Canada. So we thought it'd be a good idea to bring her along. We kind of have Abba here, the blondie and the brunette, right?
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I'm based out of Los Angeles, California, or Calabasas, California, out of our head office here. So if you're ever in the area, you know, we always love to welcome our fellow travel advisors to come visit us, and we can get a tour of our beautiful office here in Calabasas.
Perfect. So let's talk about AmaWaterways and some of the things that really set us apart. And I don't know, and I'm sure you must all know because everybody, of course, would follow AmaWaterways, but we are now 22 years young. Started back in 2002, and Rudy and Christine, they had a vision, and their vision was to create this luxurious river cruise line that would carry a lower capacity of guests on board, all the while providing really nice amenities and facilities that our guests could enjoy while they're on board. And they also wanted to have a river cruise line that they themselves would enjoy cruising on. And I feel like we've been very, very successful in those 22 years, almost 23, of bringing that to the forefront. And Jessica, as you know, we have a lot of great places we go to,
We
right?
do. I think it always, I like to think it makes me smile is that when Rudy and Christine started the company 22 years ago, they used to say, if we could only have 2 ships on the river, we would be happy. And now look at us now, right? 22 years later, we have 28 ships on the water. So it's just what a long way we have come as a company. But yes, just the world of AmaWaterways, right? So the world of AmaWaterways, starting with Europe, that's our bread and butter on the Danube. The birth of modern day river cruising started in the 1990s with the build of the Rhine-Danube Canal. And that was the vision that Rudy himself had, right? Rudy was born along the Danube in Vienna, Austria. So that is one of our main ports on the Danube. We're on the Rhine as well. You know, it's always really hard for people to think of when they ask me, what do you prefer, Danube or Rhine? And I don't know, right? It's like your children. You can't choose one over the other. But for the first time river cruisers, I always do think Danube or Rhine. You can't go wrong either way. But that's the bread and butter of our product. Danube, Rhine, absolutely beautiful. We have the Danube, we have the Rhine, we have the Moselle. The Moselle, which is really the most underrated river, I want to say, in Europe. Do you agree, Sandra? Right? The most beautiful,
I totally agree.
Right? Beautiful, picturesque. I mean, it's the epitome of what river cruising is, but people don't know about the Moselle, so they don't think of Moselle when they think of river cruising. But if you have river cruisers who've done the Danube, who've done the Rhine, and they want to do something, the Moselle is a wonderful option. We're also in France. We have our French itineraries, which are so exciting, so beautiful, such a great way to travel in France. We're on the Seine, we're on the Rhone, we're on the Garonne in the Bordeaux region. And now we have our new itinerary, Taste of Burgundy. So it's very excited. The Douro is so hot, so popular. I'm sure you know. We're bringing out our 3rd ship on the Douro because it's so popular. We have the AmaDouro, we have the AmaVida, and then we also have new one, AmaCintra, joining in 2025. So those are some of our European rivers. And then Sandra was going to tell us about Africa because she was there on the Chobe River.
Absolutely. And of course, we're not just a European company, as Jessica said. We truly do go global. In Africa, was one of the additions that we made. And funny enough, a little funny story with this one. So Rudy and Christine got married some years ago, and this was actually their honeymoon trip, and it became one of our destinations. So that's how wonderful it is. So with the Africa, we have our core program, which encompasses Cape Town and then flying up to Kasane and getting on a riverboat. And it's really a different riverboat, though. It's an eco-friendly, small ship, boutique style, 14 staterooms, only 28 guests on board. And you're not doing a typical river cruise where you're going port to port. On this one, you're actually on like a water safari. So you're sitting on this lovely little vessel and you're floating about on the Chobe River, and the animals literally come to you. So you're sitting on that top deck and you're maybe sipping a glass of champagne, and all of a sudden 100 elephants will be coming towards the river where they're going to come to cool off or to bathe or to drink. So it's fascinating to see. And we do take a smaller craft and we go into the smaller estuaries, and you can go bird watching and see other animals, that sort of thing. But the cruise itself, that portion is about 4 nights, and really a different experience. From there, we'll take our guests over to Victoria Falls, and we spend some time there. And Victoria Falls is spectacular. And the falls themselves, will do a 12-point gorge walk. There's lots of activities that you can do in your spare time, including helicopter rides over the falls. You can go bungee jumping off the bridge there. You can hang over the edge and look down below, visit the markets. There's so many things to do and to see. And then from there, we'll take you on to Johannesburg, and that is basically the core program. From that point forward, you can opt to go to Rwanda and mix and mingle with all those great gorillas and the silverback monkeys, or you can go on Rovos Rail, that very high-end luxury training experience that will take you from Victoria Falls down to Pretoria. Or you can go and do our Stars of South Africa, which is our most popular experience in Africa, where we will take you up to Kruger National Park, or rather Manialeti Game Reserve, that borders Kruger. So you get that whole land safari portion of the experience when you're in South Africa. So truly the most magnificent experience you could ever imagine. And we have some people that look at us and go, oh my gosh, this sticker price, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, this is worth every single penny. You get such value on this that you could not get from somebody else. And the properties that we use, I know, Jess, you probably saw them there not so long ago, but we have beyond 5-star properties that we stay at. And it's just, it's an experience you can't even imagine. You have to go and do it.
It really is top of the top, Sandra. And the Zambezi Queen, only 14 cabins, 28 people, and the lodges are just for us. So very luxurious, really the top of what we offer. And, think about how cool is it that the animals come to you when you're on the water. So when you're looking out your window, and when you said, Sandra, hundreds of elephants coming to bathe or drink water, I mean, how amazing is that? You look out the window and it's there. Like, I got goosebumps when you talked about that. I mean, that is definitely on the top of my list. I can't wait to go experience that one day, because it's absolutely stunning. And everyone who goes, it just say, there's no words to describe how amazing these itineraries are.
100%. And Jessica, speaking of amazing itineraries, what's this? I hear you're going to Egypt. Do you want to tell us about Egypt?
Yes. So I am going to Egypt in 2 weeks. We're starting with 3 nights in Cairo and then round trip Luxor. Valley of the Kings. We have the new ships, Amadalia and Amalilia. Amalilia just hit the water last week, actually. Sandra, did you see that video? Amalilia is on the water. So Egypt is still holding on strong. Egypt, when it first came out, was doing so well. We had to bring up our second ship, and due to the situation in the world, everything is still very safe. Our itineraries are going as scheduled. I just went. Many people in our office have gone. Angie, Sandra, she went for Christmas with her daughters. She took her 2 teenage 13-year-old daughters and her husband. So
and Neil just went too, Jeff.
Yeah, and Neil did too. So I mean, it's such an amazing itinerary to be able to see the pyramids and the Sphinx, the Valley of the Kings, Abu Simbel. I mean, the Nile River, right, has so much history, amazing history. To think that we are amongst these buildings that have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and the history there, where civilization really has started, and everything that's so well maintained. It is such an amazing experience, Egypt, and so we're so happy to be there, and continuing strong with our 2 ships. But we're also going brand new to AmaWaterways in 2025, Magdalena River from Cartagena to Barranquilla. This is a brand new itinerary. We are the only U.S.-based river cruise line sailing in Magdalena River. So one thing to know about Magdalena River, it is the backbone of Colombia, really. Rudy and Christine themselves sailed for 500 miles along the Magdalena River to curate this beautiful itinerary. It really is a passion project for Rudy. And you know what I say, Sandra, that these things, Rudy is a pioneer. They call him, he is known as a pioneer river cruising, but this is what keeps the sparkle in his eye and keeps Rudy young and healthy, is, developing these new itineraries, because this is what he loves to do. And this is really something that I think sets AmaWaterways apart, is that pioneering spirit to look for the next great destination. So going from Cartagena to Barranquilla, Colombia is the land of 1,000 rhythms, right? So you have the music, cumbia, merengue, salsa, bachata, right? You have the foods, you have the coffee, you have the wonderful food, the coffee, the chocolates. But really what's beautiful about this itinerary is that the ships are 2 new ships, only also 30 cabins, and you're going to be the only ship on the river. And you're going to see this. The itinerary is a combination of history and wildlife. And of course, the culture is so different. So the architecture is so different, and you're going to have the difference. So we start in Cartagena, and Cartagena is a town that is known for the gold, right? Because when the Spanish were in Colombia, they used to export the gold, and they used to store it in Cartagena. And then what happened was that Sir Francis Drake was coming along and pirating all the gold. So what did the Spaniards have to do? They have to move inland. So you get to see the beauty of these towns away from the coast, inland, in Mompox. Mompox is one of the highlights of this itinerary. We spent 2 nights there. And from there, you're going to see this beautiful Spanish colonial town like time has stopped, because it was purposely built away from everything, because that was where they stored the gold. So it's originally a very rich city, very beautiful. There's filigree jewelry that is very popular there. And then we're going to go to Palenque. Palenque is the first free town in the Americas. So that is where the slaves would run to. And what was really interesting is Palenque is known as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for language, because they created their own language with the drums, so that slaves could come to Palenque and find their way just with the sound of the music. And then we go to El Banco. El Banco is the birthplace of the cumbia music, which is, if you know Latin music, it's a very fun music. And we get to have a cumbia show, and they do a show of dancing with hot candles as they dance. And then we go to Barranquilla. Barranquilla is the 2nd largest carnival in all of Latin America, South America. So how cool is that? I didn't even know that. I'm like, how cool is that it's the 2nd largest carnival town, and we get to see it. We're going to be able to see that. Our guests are going to see that. And what's really cool about this itinerary is that you get to have the culture and the food and those experiences on every sailing. You're going to have the cumbia dancing show. You're going to have the carnival. You're going to get to see the animals and wildlife. Sandra, in Colombia, there's more birds, wildlife and birds than there is in all of North America combined. So that just gives you an idea how many birds and how much wildlife there is in that region. So that one's very exciting. And you know what they say when we think about Colombia, it's always compared to the Mekong. And Sandra was just in the Mekong. So tell us about that.
I was. And you know what? I'm so excited for Colombia as well. All the color and the vibrancy. I'm very excited. And I have to tell you, when I traveled to the Mekong in October, actually, so not that long ago, it was my 3rd trip to the Mekong. And every time that I've done this trip, for me, it's gotten better and better. AmaWaterways just continues to make this such an exceptional experience. So preference for me is going from Ho Chi Minh through Siem Reap and then on to Halong Bay, Hanoi and Halong Bay. I like that direction myself. Of course, when you're starting in Ho Chi Minh City, you're learning there's so much U.S. tied to the history in Ho Chi Minh. So you're getting to experience all that and visit some of the sites. And then we'll leave and we'll go to Mito. When we get to Mito and we board the beautiful Amadara, she is designed to complement the area that we are traveling in. And we'll spend 7 nights traveling on the Mekong River. So we'll go through Vietnam and then we'll cross the border and travel into Cambodia. But when we're stopping in the destinations, not only are you getting all of those temples and, the ornate buildings and everything, so all the architectural aspect of traveling there, but you're getting to meet the people. And I'm telling you, the people in Cambodia and Vietnam, you can't get kinder, sweeter, more gracious people than what you will find when you travel there. They love having their picture taken with you. They love to share their stories with you. We go in, we make rice paper. You can drink snake wine. You can do everything. So imagine the snake wine, right?
I've had the snake wine. I had it once. So yeah, the bold and the brave will try the snake wine.
Exactly. We used to stop at a reptile market, but we don't really do that anymore. But that was always
silks, right? Having all the beautiful silk, the handmade silks, which are beautiful and so affordable. And Sandra, it's been a while since I've been on the Mekong. It's been probably 7 years since I've been on the Mekong, but I agree. The people are so kind, the architecture, the food, the culture. And really what I think is, for me, is the most neat is a soft adventure, right? So it's so different from our European product, right? It's so different because the culture is different and the architecture is different and the history is different. And on here also, you get to see the beautiful architecture and the wonderful people, but I love the modes of transportation. I think that's so neat.
I know, exactly. Imagine getting off the ship and there's an ox cart with 2 oxen ready to pull you to the
water taxis, right? Water taxis. We get to ride on the tuk-tuk. We get to ride on the rickshaw. We get to ride. I mean, how cool is that to be on a rickshaw in the middle of Phnom Penh with motorcycles going everywhere? Talk about immersing yourself in the local culture. You get to see what the locals do on the motorcycles. And if you've been, right, people will know that there's an entire family of 4 on one motorcycle.
Yeah, that's a small family.
Yes, exactly. You see. And it's you're getting in it, right? You're up close and personal, one of a kind views that you're getting from that rickshaw ride.
You got it. And one of my favorite moments too, Jess, was in Siem Reap, getting up nice and early in the morning and it's warm outside and you put on your clothes, away you go. And they take you, it's still pitch black out and you go and you set up and you wait for it. You're at Angkor Wat and you watch the sunrise over Angkor Wat Temple. Oh my goodness.
Stunning.
It's like, it's a spiritual moment. It truly is. It's just so beautiful. And there's no words to describe it. Again, it's just one of those things that you really, truly have to experience, right?
And that's one thing I always recommend to clients. So when people think about, we want to go, but we don't want to do Siem Reap, it's like, what? You're going to go all that way? You have to do Siem Reap. It is a highlight for so many. And 100%. How neat is it that we get to go in there and climb in this, take photos, experience it, feel it, touch it, see it, like we're in it, right? And anyone who says to me like, oh, we don't want to do Siem Reap, it's like, you have to, trust me. It's like, trust me, you have to, you won't regret it being in Siem Reap. And it's such a cool town, right? So easy to get around, very safe. I mean, lots of tourists, but you also see younger people backpacking, right?
Exactly. And the Pub Street night market, you got to go to
the night market. Yes. And you got to shop for your elephant pants, right? We got to shop for our elephant pants to be one with the locals. But of course, the night market's so cool, very very safe. Like we're going around at night for $2. A tuk-tuk will take us all around town. I mean, it's definitely a must.
Great shopping too. So if you like to shop, it's the perfect place to pick up some goods.
It's a perfect place. You can't go wrong with shopping in anywhere along the Mekong. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And it's so inspiring because when you think of Rudy, our godfather of river cruising, and you think of Christine and how far, they've advanced in all their forethought of where to go and where to bring people and share with them. And we really, truly are the innovators in the industry. So
Rudy, the godfather of river cruising, right? Inducted into the CLIA Hall of Fame as the godfather of river cruising.
Exactly. And he truly is. And you know what? That is actually, in my impression, Rudy and Christine are the biggest assets of the river cruise industry, and we have them. So
I 100% agree. 100% agree, Sandra. So speaking of Rudy as the godfather of river cruising, one of his personal designs, Rudy is an architect by trade, and he designs our ship. So we have our signature twin balconies that Rudy designed. And it's funny enough, it started, we used to have a picture of the actual napkin, which is the birthplace of the twin balconies. Rudy, he likes to enjoy himself a fine wine, and he was out with friends having having dinner one night, and they were talking about, Rudy, do you think there ever will be full balconies on the river? And he said, well, let's think about it. And he took out a cocktail napkin, and there came the designs for the first twin balconies. But what's really cool, what's really nice about these twin balconies is that you have a full balcony. You can sit outside, close the door behind you. This is what I say, leave the outdoors, right? And enjoy the sunshine or enjoy the photos. Because don't we know it's always the case that you have two people traveling together, one who wants to be in the AC all the time and one that wants to be out in the sunshine. So this is perfect. So one of them will be outside, close the door behind you, enjoying that sun, getting those beautiful photos. And someone else can be inside with their AC on, taking photos through the French balcony. But really what's great about our cabins as well is that they're so spacious. You have so much space to put your things away, great, storage space, put your luggage underneath the bed. And then you have all that wonderful shelves and storage space to put your unpacked ones. But really, when we talk about unpacking ones, that's the beauty of the river cruise, right? You get to go from one place to the other and you unpack ones. We also have our fantastic wellness program. So wellness is very close to Christine's heart. And that's why Christine saw that our guests are living longer and they're living well, right? Everyone wants to live well. And what does wellness mean? It means different things to different people, but we do have hiking tours, biking tours, so you can have that available to you during the excursions. But also when you're on the ship, we have our wellness hosts, our wonderful wellness hosts that are there for you. Whatever level of fitness you are, you can talk to them and they will customize routine for you. I know some people who do during sip and sail, they don't drink, so they're going to go and have their wellness host one-on-one session to do some exercise, right? Burn buns, you do working the core, working the buns. But really, if you want to jog, if you want to, we have Zumba classes, we have water aerobics classes sometimes, we have stretching classes, we have yoga classes. Yoga. And you'll see people talk about, yoga and up on the sun deck and having some of the most spectacular views as you're doing your yoga in the morning. And wellness can be something as simple as our digestive walks after lunch. And we have these after lunch, you get up on the sun deck and do some walking, enjoy the beautiful sights, just to move your body. And that's what I think is really neat about wellness. And it's available to you because we don't want you to have to change your wellness routine while you're on vacation.
Correct. Yeah,
so then,
exactly.
Sandra, tell us about the sustainability on board.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Well, it's not funny, but I mean, it's been very smart for a very, very long time before people even started really focusing in on the sustainability. We at AmaWaterways were already looking at ways that we could become more friendly with the environment. And so sustainability started with us removing all the single-use plastics and doing that sort of thing, bringing in some really nice products that are refillable, glass bottles and Tetra Paks to take on tour. All of that was taken into consideration. And then we took it the next step and it looked at food service and food preparation. And we decided to go to a la carte with all of our meals, and so that there was less food waste. And then we did reintroduce buffet back in for some of the smaller items because some people come in, they just want something quick, but they want to be able to sit down and chat for a few minutes. So we've made that available. It's always about listening to the guests and what it is that they want. But for us, sustainability goes beyond taking care of that sort of thing. It could be the engines on the ships and looking at more eco-friendly engines that we're using on our vessels, then even diversity. I mean, sustainability also brings into it a little bit of the diversity in the cultures and maintaining cultures that we bring on board our ships. So I feel like we've really done it all. And we have right now, we've been awarded the Green Award for our ships in Europe, and we have over 20 of our vessels right now that were given that wonderful designation, that wonderful Green Award. So we're really proud of that. And also to tie in with what Jessica was saying about wellness, we realized that there was this up and coming sport that was out there that was making quite a breakthrough, and that's pickleball. And so Christine, knowing that this was something that people really wanted, and she loves the whole wellness and fitness and different aspects of that. So we have now put a full regulation size pickleball court on our Ama Magna. And
Ama Magna, yes, the Grand Dame, the Grand Dame of the river.
it's exploded, hasn't it, Jess? Like, it's crazy. We have so many people going on the ship now that want to play pickleball, and when they're in port, they're playing, and we're even taking it a step further where we're arranging for pickleball tournaments in the ports that
Yes.
we're going to. So lots of fun stuff there.
So people love pickleball, but let's talk a moment about the Mama Magna, a one-of-a-kind ship built at double the width of your traditional river cruise ship. Another one of Rudy's inventions, right? Of Rudy's brainchild here, Mama Magna. So what did we do with all that space? Built at double the width of your traditional river cruise ships. Our average cabins there are 205 to 710 square feet. So the cabins on the Mama Magna are huge, so spacious. And what did we also do? More public spaces. So we have 4 restaurants on board. We have multiple lounges. We have a full-size pool. We have a full-size gym. So the Ama Magna is the perfect ship for your clients that are going from ocean. They want the big ocean space to river. Ama Magna is that perfect ship connecting the two. But also Ama Magna is really a destination in itself because it's so different from our other ships. And it has its own itinerary. So we have Magna on the Danube, and Ama Magna is now also going to the lower Danube. So Ama Magna is very special, and it's definitely something that you have to experience at least once, right? Because Ama Magna is its experience on its own.
Yeah, and I find too now, Jess, and I'm sure everybody out there might even be aware of this, but a lot of our ocean going guests that are ready to make a switch to river have come over and decided to do the Ama Magna first. Yes. Because it's more alike an ocean going vessel in that some of the facilities, having the multi-dining facilities and the big gym and the spa, etc., that's available. So.
Exactly. It's a beautiful itinerary. It's a beautiful ship. Ama Magna, absolutely beautiful. I mean, all of our ships are beautiful, but Ama Magna, she's something special because she's one of a kind.
Exactly. Rudy's baby. So we talked a little bit about the luxury of space, and it's quite nice that AmaWaterways, again, we focused on having a lower capacity of guests on board so that we could afford them the luxury of space. So traveling in staterooms that have anywhere from 172 square feet, which would be our minimum, up to 730 square feet. So not only did we provide that, but we've also introduced connecting staterooms. So maybe you're 4 ladies traveling together, but you want to be able to mix and mingle, but have your own space. So having a connecting stateroom allows for that to happen. If both parties agree, we can open the door in between. And also good for families because we get a lot of multi-generational travel too, right, Jess?
And I think that's one of the reasons why we get more multi-generational travel is because we have these connecting staterooms. We have triples and we have quads. Exactly. And you'll see grandma and grandpa, parents, and then the children. We have teenagers. Recently we had a grandma brought in her 3 grandchildren, and they were all celebrating big graduations. I think 1 graduated high school and 2 graduated college, and she brought them on board, and they were in a connecting stateroom, and they had the greatest time. But we do see a lot of families on board because of that, the triples, the quads, connecting staterooms. And also the beautiful thing about river is, and we're going to talk about it later more, but all of our excursions are included. So, 2 can go on the biking tours, 2 can go on the shopping, they can go into the city tour and do some shopping, 2 can go maybe on the tasting tour, and then you come back over dinner or lunch and you talk about what you did today. You come back together. So that's, the luxury of time too, to have that time together, the luxury of options. Definitely. And here we are with our shore excursions. So we have hiking tours, biking tours, tasting tours, late riser tours. We have it all. And the best thing of all, it's all included. Mm-hmm. One of my favorites when we're going on the Danube is a Bratislava tasting tour, right? You get right off the ship, walk into town, see the beautiful sights of Bratislava, and then you get to go try some beer, right? Check some Slovakian beer. Slovakian beer is cheaper than water over there. So you get to try the different types of beer. You have a beautiful charcuterie board that has cheeses, nuts, meats, some bread. And, all that's included. So when we talk about immersing yourself in the local culture, right, in the foods, food is a part of it, right? So you want to taste, not only see the destination, but taste the destination. And of course, after you do your tasting tours, you want to do your biking tour the next day to even it out, right? Even out the calories. But our biking tours are so fun, and they're pretty, 15 miles, 20 miles, sometimes 30 miles. You're going on those biking tours. So it's most of the time very flat. It's an easy ride. It's a beautiful ride. And we have the guide in the front and we'll have the anchor in the back. So don't worry, you will make it the rest of the way, but it's very popular.
Absolutely. And my favorite thing is to go and do the chocolate making and the chocolate eating when you're in the Netherlands, and then go on the hiking the next day.
Yes, right. The chocolate, all the great chocolate. But I think also one thing to note too is when we talk about multi-gen, you have some who want to go on the hiking and biking, but then we might have some who have limited mobility. So we have our gentle walkers tours. We can't forget about those, because that's the great thing about river cruising, especially with AmaWaterways, is that we have that range, right? We have the hiking and biking, but we have the gentle walkers. And what the gentle walkers will do is that, people who have limited mobility, maybe they don't want to walk 10 minutes into town, but we'll have a little minivan to take them right to the center of town. So almost like door-to-door service, right? You get off right off the ship, you go on the minivan, drops you off right in the center of town. And that way you spend, 30 minutes, 45 minutes walking in the center of town, taking more breaks. So that way people with limited mobility also feel very comfortable and enjoy the sights just as well as, people who are doing the hiking or the active walkers tour. You get to see as much, but at a gentler pace. And it's always available there.
Exactly. And we do have some really wonderful exclusive experiences too. So what's better than flying into Munich and then transferring over to Vilshofen, where you board our ship? And we have several doing the Upper Danube that will travel out of Vilshofen. But when you're in Munich, what do you think of? You think of Oktoberfest.
Yes.
So what we did is we brought Oktoberfest to the ship. We have some locals right from Vilshofen who are there. We have our own venue there. And either if you're embarking or disembarking your ship in Vilshofen, we will do an Oktoberfest just for our guests on board. So much fun. The Oompa music's playing, the beer's going, the pretzels are going, people are dancing.
Pretzels, the beer queen, right? We have the beer queen there.
Yes.
They do.
Exactly. So it's so much fun. Or maybe it's when we go to Lahnstein and you get there and it's after dark and we take a coach up to the castle, the Lahnbach Castle, and we walk down a pathway. And when you go in and we do the tour of the castle, the entire castle is lit with candles. And it is
that's beautiful.
Isn't it? It's exquisite. It is just like, it's so charming. It just gives such a beautiful feeling when you're there. So we have so many different exclusive experiences, but that's what sets AmaWaterways apart, is the fact that we like to curate new destinations. We like to curate new activities for our guests to do. And I feel like this is something that we've done very, very well.
And again, all included. All of those are included. The special, every excursion, whether it be something special and exclusive, the city tour, they're all included. I think that's excellent value. And we have absolutely amazing food on board. Our food is fantastic, right? Farm to table, right? You will be able to see if you wake up early enough, the chef getting off and doing their shopping for the day. So we have fantastic food on board. We are members of the Chaîne de Rôtisserie, a gastronomical society. Started in France, hundreds of years ago, by invitation only. So that we're very proud of our members of Chaîne de Rôtisserie. And we have a Chaîne de Rôtisserie dinner, which is very nice. And then we, of course, have our chef's table restaurant. It's an included, it's a tasting menu, 7-course tasting menu. Depending on the ship, it can fit 24 to 28 people. And it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. There's a sommelier there that's going to be pairing the wine with the food that you're trying. And what's really nice, I think, for your clients is that every night at the chef's table will be the same experience. That way, when you go into main dining, you're going to have different foods. And really, we have the local foods catered to the North American palate, which is really nice. When we're on the Danube in Austria, we're going to have some Wiener Schnitzel. When we're in Budapest, we're going to have the goulash. So you'll have that taste. We talk about immersing yourself in the local flavors as well. The food on board is fantastic. The bread on board is fantastic. We have our pastry chef. We even make our ice cream on board. Everything is made fresh on board. Absolutely delicious. So for me, it's hard to choose what's my favorite meal, but I have to say, I think for me, I like lunch. But dinner is king, but lunch has so many great options that I can't choose. And really, what's really nice I like about that, the local flavors are on board, is that you can go see some, you're in town, you see some of the local foods, then you can come back for lunch and you'll get to try that. Like, with the Frohschoppen when we have on board, and we have all the wonderful sausages and the pretzels. And, it's just such a great experience to try the local flavors.
Absolutely. And I know there isn't a soul out there who has taken a river cruise with us that actually loses weight. So I'm just saying, wear your stretchy clothes, right?
Give yourself a little room. Oh, of course.
And
Sandra.
exactly. And why not, right? It's funny, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of happy hour back home. So a few years back, we decided to introduce sip and sail. So sip and sail is basically your happy hour before dinner every evening. So this is an opportunity that everybody convene in the main lounge, which is like the living room in our home on the water. And when you come there, we'll have the piano player will be playing while you're ordering your favorite cocktail. And then our cruise manager, which we have the absolute best cruise managers in the industry, but our cruise manager will then go through a briefing of all the next day's activities and share with you any information that you might need to know so that you have the opportunity, if you want to change the activity that you might have signed up for using the app or your pre-cruise check-in. It gives you a chance to hear about it, and then you can go and do that. And then, or else maybe you're happy with the one you chose, or maybe you're going to go on the Viking and you need to sign up and fill out the forms that we need to do for that. But regardless of what it is, Sip and Sail is absolutely fantastic. A whole menu of different drinks that you can enjoy, and a wonderful way to meet every evening and just share all your day, all your excitement that you shared.
And I just wanted to add quickly, we have our sip and sail, right? 1 hour open bar before dinner, but we also have champagne breakfast in the morning. Yes. We have wonderful local wines. So we, on the Rhine, we'll have Rieslings. On the Danube, we'll have from the Wachau Valley, Gurner-Witzliner. In France, we're going to have the Beaujolais wines, but we have lovely local wines. So we have bubbles bubbles in the morning, champagne breakfast. We have wine and beer with lunch and dinner, and of course our sip and sail. So there's definitely lots of options to imbibe.
Exactly.
Per your pleasure.
Absolutely right. Oh, and you shared about the Alma Magna, so we can go by that one and we'll move on to the next.
And we talked about wellness, the wellness program, yoga on the sun deck, which we know is a beautiful way to experience yoga.
And I actually really like the stretching classes in the morning. It's a great way to start the day before you start walking. If you're going to be doing a lot of walking that day, maybe one of the hikes. So good thing to do. Onboard
entertainment. So, no river cruise is complete without some onboard entertainment. So remember, when you're along the river, we're going to bring on local entertainers. And some of my favorites is when we have the local folkloric dancers, right? Because that's so neat. Again, about being in the destination, learning about destination, the music, the dance, the typical wardrobes that you have, the traditional wardrobe, which is very nice. On the Mekong, you have beautiful in Bratislava, when they have in Budapest with that traditional dancing she has with the wine on her head, you'll be amazed at the balance that they have, how much they're jumping and dancing, and the wine will stay on their head.
Exactly.
Right. It's so nice.
The Khmer dancers too in Cambodia, Vietnam.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And they train for that since they're children to be able to dance that. It's all about the fingers, how they put it's very delicate movements, but it's in the fingers, and you'll see it's very special. And then on the river, we're going to have local entertainers based on the destination. And then we're going to have them. And then we even have demonstrations. Sometimes we'll have some cooking demonstrations on board. Sometimes we'll have some glass blowing demonstrations. Again, based on the local, we can have some cheese tasting or some wine, depending on what is local to the region. And of course, we have our pianist on board, right? Our local entertainer who will be with us the whole time. And then we have our theme party. So we have one big party on board. It's a theme party, 70s parties or 80s party. And that's a night, bring your dancing shoes, because really the party is what you make of it.
Exactly. And if it's a hosted fam, you might even have a couple of theme parties. You never know, right? Because we're known to throw those out now and again too. So it's funny, we talk about unparalleled service. And when I think of this, I think of a story that I was recently told. And our cruise managers, they go above and beyond. They are there really to take care of the guest, right? From the moment that the guest arrives at the hotel, if they're doing our pre-land package, right through the cruise and to the post-land package. But this story, I thought it was really interesting because unfortunately, we had a guest on board that had fallen in one of the ports and he had broken his leg. So off he went to the hospital, got there and everything, he was taken care of. And he remained there until they did what they needed to do. And then he came back to the ship. So when he got back to the ship, everybody was happy to see him, clapped their hands, and we're so happy that he was okay. However, when he left the hospital, he forgot to get a fit to travel form so that he could fly home a few days later. So our cruise manager contacted a ship that was still in port where the hospital was that he had gone into the prior to this. And the cruise manager from that ship went to the hospital, got the fit to travel form, hopped on a bicycle and rode while our cruise manager rode from that ship back. They met halfway, they switched off the paperwork and then went back. We were able to present him with his fit to travel form so that he could get home. Not only did we do that, but because of the break in his leg, he wasn't allowed to bend his leg. So he had to keep it straight, which meant that he either had to be on a stretcher or in business. Couldn't get business on the flight that he wanted. So we secured a hotel for him for one more night and then got him on a business class flight to go home the next day. So there's no other company out there that would go above and beyond, I feel, than our company and how we take care of our guests on board. They are family to us. And this is just one example of what happens when situations like that occur. So
the cruise managers really are fantastic. They do take excellent care of your clients. And I think it's also really important when we say like they're with their clients from the very beginning to the very end, the guests. They have a little desk there in the hotel lobby and they'll welcome them. And then on the way home, they don't go home until the last guest went on home. So I think that's really important. And they're so smart and so well educated. I mean, you're on there, Sandra, when we have the town halls and they're introducing the new cruise managers and they're so accomplished. They speak 3 languages, certified experts of wine. I mean, so accomplished. Let's just say I never want to go after them. Like if we're introducing ourselves, I want to go first and they can go later because they have so much to say. I don't want to go up after them. They just put us to shame.
Exactly. And I find every time I go on and a cruise manager sharing like briefings or things, I'm learning too.
Yes,
So
exactly. And true experts of the region, 100% true experts. And, they're such an asset when you're in a new place at the hotel. They'll even give you just an orientation tour where they'll say, here, I'm going to walk you around what's at the hotel. And, here's a restaurant. Here you can change some money if you want. Like they'll ask you, what do you feel like having? Do you want something local? Do you want something posh? Like, where do you want to shop? What do you want to find? Like they're there, really your personal concierge during your trip.
I agree. And I do feel like AmaWaterways has the best in class when it comes to
We do. I agree, Sandra.
Oh, dear. Okay. And next, land packages. Do you want to take that one away?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about land packages, being that we're there with the cruise manager. But we have wonderful land packages. We have Paris, post extension, Prague on the Danube. I always recommend Prague on the Danube because, you get to add that extra country because on the Danube you have, Austria, Budapest, Germany, we have Slovakia, and you can add Czech Republic on there. So definitely recommend Prague, such a beautiful medieval city. Oh, Lake Como, so popular. Last year, we sold out Lake Como. Remember, Sandra? There was no more space anywhere in Lake Como with our Swiss Alps. So it's really such a great way to extend your river cruise vacation because that's some of the trends that we are seeing is that guests want to extend their trip because, airfare we know it's being a little difficult. It's a little pricey. So if you're all the way in Europe, extend with the land package. Most of our itineraries will have some will have a pre and a post. So we have that all available. When you take a land package with us, breakfast is included, tours are included, transfers are included from the ship to the hotel stay or from the hotel stay to the ship. And of course, the cruise manager is there.
Absolutely. And not only that, they're 4 and 5 stars. So these are really beautiful hotels. Yeah.
Beautiful hotels. And then we have our wonderful air team. Our air team has grown. Our air team has grown like 3 times the size that it once was. So our air team is here ready to serve you. Our air desk now is available 24 hours a day. So you can call in directly and speak to them. That's a wonderful, wonderful value. So let our air team worry about the air so you don't have to.
Exactly. And when guests take the air with us, we also provide those transfers to either the hotel or to the ship, provided they're not deviating from the date of arrival to either the land portion or the ship portion. Our people. Ama means love, and we love our people. There's no question about it. And we've spoke a lot about our cruise managers and how wonderful they are. But you know what? It starts with Rudy and Christine. And, Rudy being the godfather and the pioneer of river cruising, to Christine being the face of AmaWaterways. And for anybody who has met Christine, you know that she is one of the most authentic and genuine human beings that you could ever want to meet. Every little girl wants to grow up and be Christine. So, with our people, it resonates right on down through. When you get on board our crew, they treat you like family, and from our side, from our sales side, our advisor partners and our consortia partners, we absolutely adore each and every one of you, and you are family to us. So our people are something.
I do think it's like when you come on board, it's like welcome home, and the staff really does. The crew is amazing, and they're so warm and genuine. And I agree, it comes from the very top, because that's how the training is, right? This is what they know, the expectation coming from the very top, and you feel it as soon as you step on board, the warmth and the welcome of being on board.
Absolutely. And not only that, and you've probably seen it too, Jess, when you're leaving on disembarkation day, and there's people like hugging and crying, because when will I see you again? Where are you cruising next year? I want to be with you. So it's really, really quite beautiful. And then, of course, we have our sales team, right? So,
we have our wonderful sales team here to help you grow the business. They're great too, across the country.
Exactly. And this picture was taken not this past year at our summit, but a year before. So our sales team has grown too. We have a lot more.
Yes, we have two new ones that are just starting. Yeah, we do. It started like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. So we're constantly building our team so that we're better able to support you out there in the field. And then, of course, the thing that we have that no one else has are these amazing partners, and that being you. And we couldn't be here, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your support day to day. So we can't thank you enough for traveling with us, for putting your guests in our hands to take care of. And we always value you and your clients when we're.
We really do. We love them. We love our partners.
We sure do. Well, Jess, do you want to talk a little bit about the travel advisor portal?
And I know we have only a few minutes, but we have our TA portal, travel advisor portal, which is chock full of information. Many of you, I'm sure, know we have our online booking engine that's available 24 hours a day. So you can go on anytime, make bookings at any time, apply payment now, anytime. Even your group bookings, you can do those on board. You can do those on our TA portal, which is fantastic. We have all of our promotions are there. We have our webinar Wednesdays recorded on there. And of course, we have all of our TA toolkits, which are there. And then speaking of toolkits, for our complimentary land offer, this is hot, backed by popular demand, right? It's very popular. It's a free land package. We talked about the trend that people are staying longer, and what better way to do so than with our complimentary land package, right? We have that available for 2024 and 2025 for pre or post. And Lake Como is one of those that are so hot, so popular. On our Gems of Southeast Europe, also the land package, very popular. So this is the time for your guests to book, to take advantage of that free land offer.
Absolutely. And I mean, these have extraordinary value as well. In Canadian dollars, you're talking, some of them are valued at about $2,400. So really a great opportunity to have your clients not only do their 7, 10, 11, 13, 14, 21, 28, whatever day river cruise, but then they can add the pre or post land program to it. And then we have the Air Plus.
Yes, so, combinable with the free land, right? We have our Air Plus program, which is a great way to travel. I mean, economy airfare for $8.99 or $10.99 Canadian, premium $22.99 or $29.99 Canadian, and then our business $42.99 or $49.99. And this is all gateway. So this is really great value. Very great value. We know it's been a challenge, and that's why we came out with this offer, based on the feedback we were getting from you, our valued partners.
Exactly. And a great opportunity to lock it in and have it all done in one spot. So now we've come to that time where we get to answer some questions. So I believe, Ailish, you're going to walk us through some questions, perhaps?
Yes, I will. Thank you so much for that really amazing presentation. I learned so much, and I'm sure that everyone in the audience did too. So we do have some questions, though. The first one I'll start with here is, what is AmaWaterways commission policy?
So in terms of commission, if you are a partner with AmaWaterways, you can earn up to 18% commission. We require a deposit at time of booking, and then we pay out our commissions at 31 days prior. And it's a really nice opportunity for our guests as well, because they don't have to make final payment until 90 days before departure. So commissions are protected up to that 31 days prior to departure.
Okay, amazing. And where can we find your promotional offers?
Oh, TA portal, right? We just talked about. So we just talked about that. Everything is available on our TA portal. The TA portal is fantastic, very easy to use. In fact, when you log on, you're going to see the second thing is going to be all of our promotions. You're going to see that there. So everything is available on our TA portal, all of our latest promotions.
And those toolkits are the most amazing things in the world, might I say.
They're so helpful. With our promotions on the toolkits, you'll have everything pre-sized, ready for you to post on your social media or to mail if you want to include them in your mailers. It's all ready. It's all ready for you, pre-sized, ready to go. You just hit send.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Makes it nice and easy.
Yes.
And are there age restrictions for guests on board?
So we do welcome families on board. The youngest children allowed on board are 4. And the reason for that is because, we don't have a kids program per se where we have like a kids club or any special entertainment for the children. So we feel ages 4 and up is the best for children to come on board. We tend to see more about teenagers. Teenagers come on board, and we see a lot of them around Christmas time or summertime. Because, Christmas markets is beautiful for at all ages, but the children, it's, seeing Christmas markets through a child's eyes, truly magical.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be really magical. You would never forget that as a 4-year-old.
It'd be hard to compare. Compete next Christmas after a Christmas market.
Oh, yeah. And can you please tell us more about your weekly webinars?
Oh, yeah. So every single Wednesday, our executive team lead a webinar Wednesday, and there's all different themes around our webinar Wednesdays. And the wonderful thing is we love to have our travel advisors join us live for those. But in the event that you can't, you can still register, or you can still go to the travel advisor portal, and you'll find all of our webinar Wednesdays recorded there. So you're able to go back and review those and learn from those.
Yes. And, this is what I tell people about Webinar Wednesdays. I'm like, you can learn everything, the most latest up-to-date information on Webinar Wednesdays. And really, sometimes we won't even make announcements until Webinar Wednesday, so we can make sure it's the most hot, up-to-date information. Everything AmaWaterways available Webinar Wednesdays. So join us tomorrow for Webinar Wednesday.
Perfect. We have another question here. How does AMA Academy benefit agents?
So we have 3 modules of AMA Academy now. So really, it's so you can learn all about AmaWaterways, learn about the core of the product. We have the first one is the core of the product. Then we have one focusing on groups. So, it's really a great way to learn and get to really kind of get your feet wet with AmaWaterways. But also, once you've taken the AMA Academy, you get a discount on our FAMs, on our wonderful TA FAM. So you get $200 off per person when you take your AMA Academy. And speaking of FAMs, if you want to join me on the Mekong, you can join me on August 5th on the Mekong for this year. So if you're interested, reach out to me, Jessica@amawaterways.com, and you can join me. But, take your AMA Academy first, because that way you get your discount.
All right. And what offers do you have for solo travelers?
Oh, always something for solo travelers. So we actually, on 4 of our ships in France, we do have some staterooms that are dedicated as solo traveler staterooms where they don't pay a supplement to travel in those particular rooms. And then as well, we do have some special promotions on right now on select dates where we're offering just a 25% supplement. And our typical supplement would be 50%. So it truly is really easy to have a solo traveler come on board with us. And I have to tell you, we do get a lot of solo travelers coming on board. River cruising is a great way for them to travel, to meet new people, and they're never left alone. They're always feeling like they're embraced in the arms of somebody who wants to take them in and become their family.
That sounds great. We have time, I think, for a couple more questions, and then we'll announce the prize winner before we let you all go. But we have a question here from Suzanne. Does AMA own or have ownership in the ship located in Africa?
We don't own the ship in Africa, but Rudy and Christine do have a really wonderful relationship with the owners of that ship. We and the owner are the only ones that currently use that vessel. So we are definitely invested in that program, but we don't physically own the hardware.
Okay, and another one here. Can you sign up for the tours once the client books, or is it onboard only?
They can sign on after final payment time. So after final payment time, they download our AMA app. So we put it on, and then that you can go through and select any of the excursions that you're interested in, except for the bike tours. Those bike tours are booked on board because they have to sign, they sign a form with the cruise manager. We call it an oops. It's not our fault form. But really it's just to make sure the cruise manager talks to the guests and see when was the last time they were on a bike and if they're comfortable with, 20, 30-mile bike rides. But the nice thing is you do that at final payment time on your AMA app, which is very easy to use. And then you can always change your mind. But when you do it on the app, let's say, for example, the chocolate, wine, and beer tour that we have, and we see that the venue usually holds 25 people, but we see already right off the bat, 45 people want to go. This will allow us to book a bigger venue. So it's always good for your guests to do that so we can know where the interest lies to make sure we can accommodate everyone. And this is something special I think AMA does because we want to make sure that our guests get to do what they want. We don't want to sell out tours. We want to make sure there's space for everyone. And yes, they can always change their mind on board. So just because you signed up for something today, 3 months before your cruise, doesn't mean you're not married to it. You can always change your mind.
Amazing. And our final question here from John, what is the URL to the Travel Advisor portal?
So AmaWaterways.com. And then when you log on, when you get to AmaWaterways.com, right on the top right-hand corner.
.ca for Canada.
.ca for Canada. You will see it on the top right-hand corner. You're going to see it, TA portal. You log on. If you're registered with us, you just put in your IATA and your email address. If you haven't registered with us, you can register with us online as well.
All right. Thank you. .ca, yeah. And we can share that URL tomorrow when we email you the recording as well. So it can be right in that email. Well, we're just at a couple minutes to the hour here, so I think it's time to announce the prize winner. Sandra, I sent you that information in the chat. If you'd like to go ahead.
Yes, well, we're so excited that our prize winner will have a wonderful cruise for two in Europe, and we will follow up with a certificate that lays out all of the terms and conditions of this wonderful prize. So without further ado, our winner of the prize today is Linda Gauthier from Voyages in Le Village Hudson in Quebec. So Voyages, Le Village Hudson in Quebec. Congratulations, Linda. You're going to have
Congratulations, Linda. So exciting. Where in the world will you go, right?
Exactly.
Congrats, Linda. We'll follow up with you over email and get that going for you. So without further ado, thank you so much to Sandra, Jessica, and AmaWaterways for this really great presentation today. As the webcast ends, everyone will be redirected to the AmaWaterways websites where you can learn more. And as I mentioned, we will be sharing the recording link once it's processed. Within about 24 hours, you will get that in your inbox. It will also be uploaded to Baxter Media's YouTube channel, where you can find all of our other past webcast recordings as well. To sign up for more webcasts, you can click the link that's in the top of the chat box. It's pinned there. It will take you to travelpress.com. We have all the upcoming webcasts constantly updated on there. The next one is next week on April 30th. So a week from today, it will be an interview with Robin Lawther from Expedia TAP about how they're using artificial intelligence to improve the travel agent experience and how AI is shaping the future of travel. It's coming, so we have to learn about it. So please sign up for our next webcast with Expedia TAP. And have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you so much again to Sandra and Jessica. And we'll let you go, but hope to see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.